John Keats, one of the most celebrated poets of the Romantic era, was a man who wrestled with life's impermanence. Born on October 31, 1795, in Moorgate, London, his life starting from a young age was as fleeting as the themes he wrote about, such as beauty, love, and mortality. But in his 25 short years, he left us with a legacy that transcends time. So let's dive into his story and the moments that helped shape the creation of his most impactful poem. John Keats was the oldest of 4 siblings in a modest family. His father, Thomas Keats, ran a successful horse stable that was owned by his father-in-law. Unfortunately for the Keats family, on April 16, 1804, a tragic moment took place that would become a terrible theme in this family's history. Thomas Keats was returning home after visiting John and his brother George at school, when Thomas suddenly lost control of his horse and ran into the main gate of the Bunhill Fields Cemetery. After being sent flying several feet into the air, he suffered a severe skull fracture to the right side of his head that did unfortunately take his life only hours later. Thomas was believed to be 30 or 31 at the time of his passing, and John was just 8 years old. His father's death complicated the family's financial status, as Thomas was the one supporting the family all this time. John's mother, Frances Jennings, remarried only 2 months after John's father, Thomas, had passed away. The results of that relationship were short and only divided the family more, as John's mother had decided to send him and his siblings to live with his grandmother. John's mother returned back into their lives years later, but unfortunately passed away from tuberculosis in 1810, only 6 years after the passing of his father. This early loss left a deep mark on him, sparking a lifelong awareness of mortality. Despite these hardships, Keats showed a fierce determination to succeed, even becoming an apprentice to a doctor by the young age of 15, but stopped not long after, realizing his real passion was in poetry. By his early 20s, Keats had fully devoted himself to writing. Inspired by nature, classical mythology, and the works of Shakespeare, he crafted vivid, emotional poetry. But his journey wasn't easy. In fact, many critics often dismissed his work during his lifetime. Lord Byron, another romantic poet of the era, thought Keats' work was overrated and unoriginal, even dismissing Keats as a Cockney poet, a derogatory term used by people of the time to describe the lower class. William Hazlitt thought Keats's work lacked masculine energy of style. Percy Shelley recognized Keats's potential as a poet, but not his execution. Still, Keats persevered, driven by his belief in the power of beauty and art. By 1818, Keats's life took an even darker turn. His youngest brother Tom had suddenly died from tuberculosis at the age of 19 years old. It was during this time, in 1819, that Keats wrote, "When I have fears, that I may cease to be." The poem is a reflection of his fear of dying before achieving his dreams, before his pen could capture the thoughts swirling in his mind, or before his eyes could see the beauty of the world he longed to explore. Keats confronts these fears head-on in his poem. He speaks of his desire to write great works, to experience love, and to leave a lasting impact. And instead of caving into hopelessness, he finds peace in accepting life's briefness. In the memory of John Keats, I have created a modernized version of his famous poem, keeping it as close to the original as possible, in hopes of making it easier to understand while keeping his core message intact. I've also gone ahead and pinned the original poem in the comments section for anyone who would like to explore it. Now, without further ado, here is John Keats, "When I have fears that I may cease to be." Modernized. When I fear that I may die, before my pen has captured the ideas in my mind, before towering books filled with writing hold, like rich storehouses, the fruits of my work, when I look at the starry night sky, I see huge, cloudy symbols of a grand romance and think, I may never trace their shadows with the hand of chance. And when I feel beautiful and fleeting as you are, that I may never see you again, never enjoy the magic of unthinking love, then I stand alone on the edge of the world and think, until love and fame mean nothing. Tragically, Keats's fears soon became a reality, as he contracted tuberculosis in 1820 and passed away in Rome just a year later. He was only 25 when he passed away, in respect of John Keats' feelings about himself and his work. The quote, "Here lies one whose name was writ in water," was placed on his gravestone, as Keats believed his work would be quickly forgotten, like words written in water. Yet, today his work is still remembered and acknowledged as a cornerstone of English literature. Despite Keats's own pessimism and all the ridicule from his peers, Keats's story is a testament to the power of resilience, passion, and the human spirit. If you have found some value in today's video, please like and subscribe so we can keep bringing history back to life.